Dear friends, Namaste. It's wonderful to be here today in this beautiful city, Fargo. You know, I've just come from Los Angeles. We have our monastery there, in the Vedantic Society of Southern California, in Hollywood, no less. And so, when I said I'm going to Fargo, they said, oh, the movie Fargo, the place Fargo. I'm really thankful to the Interfaith Committee and the different bodies which got together to form the organizing committee for this beautiful event in this beautiful concert hall of the NDSU, that we can all come together and share certain ideas. As has just been mentioned, the date today, 9/11, in this event has twin significance. One, we all know. Nobody needs to remind us the terrible events that happened on September 11th, 2001. The other one, as was just mentioned, Swami Vivekananda, who could be regarded as the founder of our particular order, a monk of the Vedanta, who came here in 1893. And on this very day, 11th September 1893, in Chicago, delivered a talk, a very significant talk, pointing out the dangers of religious fanaticism and a call for religious harmony. So more than, say, what I was calculating, 123 years ago, and just over 100 years after that, the terrible events of 2001, September 11, 2001, happened on the very same day. Now, India is a very interesting case study in religious harmony. Not many people know that apart from the indigenous religions of India, the other great world religions, the Abrahamic faiths, all have been there in India from almost their very inception. Christianity, just after Jesus, they say that Saint Thomas actually came to India, and the Syrian Christians have been there for nearly 2,000 years in India. Jews have been there in India from about 70 AD when the temple was first destroyed by the Romans, and there was a Jewish diaspora which has been there continuously in India for about the last 20 centuries. And I was interested to find out that the very second mosque ever built in Islam during the lifetime of the Prophet himself was actually built in the south of India, near the city Cochin, which still exists. And of course the great Indian religions, Buddhism and Jainism and Sikhism, and among all of them the most ancient living religion, Hinduism. Vedanta, which is a more correct term for Hinduism, I would say, represents the philosophical, the spiritual traditions of Hinduism. Swami Vivekananda, who was the first teacher of Vedanta to come to these shores, and after him so many have come. Today in America, yoga is so popular. It's all over the place. Sometimes I feel there are more yoga studios in California than there are in India. Words like karma have become part of our lexicon here in the United States, in the Western world. It all started with Swami Vivekananda. In fact, I can highly recommend this book, American Veda, by Philip Goldberg, which traces the growth and influence of Vedanta in America, starting with Swami Vivekananda. Now, Swami Vivekananda himself would often introduce his teachings by quoting from the Upanishads, the oldest living scriptures on this planet. And a particular verse was his favorite. I'll repeat it, I'll chant it out here in the original Sanskrit, and then we'll look at it in some more detail. It goes like this. It's beautiful Vedic Sanskrit. Shrinvantu vishve amritasya putraha aye dhamani divyani dastu vedaham purusham mahantam aditya varnam tamasah parastat tameva viditva ati mrityumeti nanyah pantha vidyate ayanaya. Now what does that mean? We do not know who said this It's lost in the mists of antiquity, but reliably at least we can sort of date it back to more than maybe 10 or 15 centuries before the Buddha. So it goes back to somewhere 3,000 or 4,000 years. And the sage here, it's a quotation from the Upanishads, the sage says, "Listen ye children of immortal bliss, even those that dwell in higher spheres, in higher heavens. Listen. Listen to what? Vedaham Purusham Mahantam. I have discovered an infinite being. I have discovered the infinite being. That there is some infinite existence. Well, if such a thing is there, what is it like? Aditya Varnam, blazing forth like the sun, not with a material light like this, but with the light of consciousness, infinite consciousness. Tamasah Parastat. In Sanskrit that means forever beyond darkness. Beyond darkness, beyond the darkness of death and misery and suffering and frustration. Beyond darkness. And this is something that I have discovered. Very good, supposing you have discovered such a thing, what good does it do? What's the use of this thing you've discovered? He says, we don't even know if it's a he, because some of the Vedic sages were women too. Discovering this, knowing this infinite reality, one goes beyond death. Tameva viditva ati mrityumeti. One goes beyond death. Death, the human limitation, one transcends human limitation, human suffering. Nanya pantha vidyate ayanaya. There is no other way. Every other way that we adopt in human life, whether it is in politics or in economics or in science or technology, where we try to entertain ourselves, engage ourselves in commerce or building an empire or whatever, all of those ways have their limitations and all of them end in death. But there is something, an infinite reality which we can realize. And if we do realize, if we do experience this, then one goes beyond suffering. One enjoys infinitude. Now this to me is the essence of religion. You see, one of the conclusions of Vedanta is that all religions point towards this infinite reality. There is some infinite reality which is called by different religions in different names, but there is this thing which we can realize. This thing can be a personal God, the personal God of religion, which is called, the Christians call the Father in heaven, or the Jews would call Jehovah, the Muslims would call Allah. In Hinduism, you have different conceptions of God, Vishnu or Shiva, or in Hinduism God can be female too, with forms like Durga or Kali or Saraswati. All of them are differing conceptions of this infinite reality. And these are personal, what one might call personal God. And this infinite reality is in itself impersonal too. The Vedantic conception of God or the infinite reality is also both impersonal and personal. On the personal side, the examples would be the God conceived of in different religions. The impersonal aspect is infinite consciousness and existence, pure consciousness, pure existence. Great saint and mystic of Bengal in 19th century, Vivekananda's guru, Sri Ramakrishna, gave this beautiful example. He said, imagine water. When it's very cold, water freezes into ice of different shapes, or different forms. And it's like, by the devotion of the devotees, those who love God and adore God, you have a conception of God which we worship in different religions, in different conceptions of God. And he says, when the sun of knowledge rises, the ice melts back into the formless water. Formless and with form. And the with form can be a male deity, God can be male or female, and without form. Personal and impersonal. This is the central idea of the spiritual reality which the Vedas speak about. Another important thing which follows from this is that religion is realization. This is a great thing that Vedanta teaches us. This is a point that I would like to emphasize. Religion consists not only in believing something, in accepting a certain set of beliefs, not even in theology, theorizing about something, not even in just following a set of rules and regulations with the hope of a post-mortem reward, but actually realizing the divine in this life. Every religion has its tradition of mystics who have realized the spiritual reality spoken about in their religion in actual experience. Vedanta says mysticism is not only for a few exceptional souls. In fact, the purpose of religion, the goal of religion, is to realize this infinite reality. That is the goal of human life. That is the goal of religion. According to Vedanta, then, religion can be realized. It can become a matter of experience, and it should become a matter of experience. Swami Vivekananda defined religion in this way. He said, religion is the manifestation of the divinity already within us. That you can realize this divinity, you can experience this divinity already within us. And he spoke about different ways, we'll come to that. So, religion is realization. This is a central aspect of Vedanta, and we see that in Indian life. There have been so many sages and saints, both men and women, who have experienced God. That's what makes a man or a woman spiritual in the eyes of Indians. That have you experienced God? Do you only speak about God, or have you experienced